we're here with another episode of Let's Talk About It. My name's Joel, and joining me today is Hayden.
Morning.
Hey, it's so good to have you with us.
Thank you so much. Hey, it's great. Love this. It's really good. Love what you guys are doing here. I'm really excited. So it's really
That's
cool.
so good. Hey, the ladies had an opportunity last time to talk about sex,
Yes.
but just for women.
I know. I had a sneak peek.
Was it any good?
What? Yeah, I thought it was good. Yeah.
Great. Hey, ladies, if you're watching this, go and check out your own version of it. But,
And stop watching.
no, not really. But hey, we're going to talk about sex, but
Yeah.
to do with guys today.
Yep. Sex and relationships, all the fun stuff.
So you're married yourself at the
I
moment?
am. Been married for nearly 10 years to Kylie. We've got 2 children, Savannah, who's 5, and Cooper's 2. So lots of fun in our house. And in my other world, I'm on staff at Metrochurch and also lead Red Frogs for Western Australia. So
Wow, that's so
have a bit of fun.
That is so incredible. Hey, we'll kick off with a first question here.
Yep.
First question is to do with porn. If you have the urge to look at porn,
Yeah.
what do you do?
You don't.
You don't. Great. You have it there. Just don't. But
Episode finished. Hey, look, it is so accessible. Like, we walk around with it in our back pockets every single day, and anyone who tells you they haven't looked at it is lying to you.
Yeah.
And so it's about going, okay, how do we actually take those steps forward to becoming about who we want to be and how we want to live our life going forward? And, you know, porn obviously is very degrading, but it's also setting your mind up, I guess, to fail in the long run. Like, you're setting up channels and neurons and pathways that are going to be really hard to undo in the future. And so you want to find a way to actually be accountable to someone and actually go away and actually go, okay, how am I going to actually fight this and actually stop going to these places where my thoughts are going to go? But also, I think part of it as well, Joel, is what happened in the lead up. Like, were you bored? Were you hungry? Like, all those things about just going, okay, well, what do I need to do the hour beforehand to actually keep my mind busy, keep myself busy? If you know that there's a certain time that's a trigger for you, or an event maybe that's a trigger for you, how do I actually bypass that and keep myself busy during that time? Obviously, you want to make sure you're talking to a great pastor or a connect leader who can actually walk through this journey with you and actually, you know, show some grace, but also show a little bit of love as well, and actually come alongside and encourage you to be the person that you want to be into the future. I think the big thing is, Joel, also is that we sometimes just go, oh, when I'm married, it'll be okay. That marriage fixes everything. And there are some elements that marriage does fix in our life as well. But if those habits are there and that drawing to those places is actually there, then marriage isn't going to sustain that for the long term. And so it's about getting that help now, becoming who you want to be, and making sure that, you know, you're putting measures in place. There are lots of tools as well you can download onto your phone that can actually help you not resist the temptation, but can actually help keep you accountable in those places and block some of those sites and things like that, so you can actually keep your mind pure and become who you want to be, and focus on Jesus and using our bodies to worship.
that's really good. That's really helpful. I love what you're saying there, just especially about that accountability factor and the fact that this is not a journey that has to be done alone.
Oh, I don't think it can be done alone, Joel. I think, you know, they say 2 or 3 are gathered. Like, that's where people get to come together and actually, you know, champion you. And that's why it's so important to be planted in a great faith community like a church, where people can come alongside you and actually walk these journeys with you, because your church wants the best for you as well. They want to see you live a great life and free from those addictions like porn and other things as well. But, you know, where it's in the mind, it's actually, you know, renewing your mind and keeping your mind sound.
Great.
Yeah.
That's really good. And obviously something that for guys, I think especially, that comes along with porn is often that idea of masturbation as well.
Yep. Again, find someone who you can talk to. Get around people that can actually help you with grace and with love. The fact that, you know, people go, oh, well, it's only me, like, you know, who's it actually hurting? And, you know, I'm not looking at porn, and so how bad can it actually be? You're sinning against yourself.
Yeah,
your mind is actually going places where it shouldn't go. I don't think you can think about nature.
Yeah. The birds.
Yeah, exactly. And so your mind is actually gonna be going places and actually you start again training your mind, training your neurons about where it's gonna go to actually get that orgasm, for want of a better, it's what you're looking for. That's the end goal. And so it's about going, okay, how do I renew my mind? How do I keep my mind clean? And how do I actually focus on the things that God wants me to focus on?
Yeah, great.
And again, you want to break those habits. You want to make sure that those habits aren't things that you're going to take into other relationships, whether you're single or married or, you know, in a partnership. It's a habit. And like any habit, you've got to make some drastic changes to actually fix it. Having people come alongside you and actually help you break those habits as well can actually speak into your life, pray with you, point you to Jesus, and make sure you're focusing on the right things. But then also avoiding triggers. Am I watching particular movies that aren't good for me? Am I listening to music that's not actually good for me? Am I having conversations, even that might be a bit of banter in the staff lunchroom or things like that for you might be a trigger? And so it's going, okay, how do I remove myself from those situations so that I can actually keep my mind clear and keep it where I want to go? I also think it's really hard to masturbate when praise and worship music's on.
Yeah, look.
Yeah. So actually change what you're listening to, change what you're actually putting in to your mind and things like that. So make sure you've got some music, got some great playlists on your phone or wherever they are as well. So you're actually putting good things into your mind and actually keeping your mind clean and actually pointing it into the direction of where you want to go.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I know another trigger that I've found just talking to young guys as well, obviously stress can be a big deal when it comes to that, just that release of like everything's all good again, just with that, the dopamine that comes out. And I guess part of it, we are training ourselves in that to have that instant gratification as well.
Totally.
When it comes to it, which obviously plays in, again, like you're talking with marriage. About that whole thing of, as much as guys, we would love to be able to have sex every time that we have the desire, right? Just, you'll attest to the fact that
it doesn't always happen like that. Let's be honest, it's not on tap.
Yeah. And so I think it's really important that we don't train our bodies that as soon as we have that urge, to actually to gratify that.
Yeah. And also I think if we can be really honest, masturbation sometimes is about how quickly can I do this?
Yeah.
And so it's fast is better and all that sort of thing. And you don't want to take that into your marriage either. You don't want to be a 2-minute wonder.
No. It's so true. But is oral sex biblical?
Within a marriage, I think that almost everything is permissible with consent. And with a trusting relationship where there's open communication and you feel that there's respect there, that you could be heard and things like that. Outside of marriage, no. It's sex. It's called oral sex for a reason. And so it's about going, well, no. I think it's also taking it back a step and going, why do you want to go there?
Yeah, great.
I guess, is it actually edifying to the other person? Is it actually lifting each other up? Is there a deep-rooted lust or fetish that's in there that means that you want to go down that pathway? And so I just go, no. I think that for talking about boundaries, you want to have some really clear conversations about what sort of things are permissible and not permissible. And I think that, you're just drawing a line that can be really blurred really easily.
Yeah, great.
And so it's actually going, you know what? I think sometimes we focus too much on going, I'm going to have sex when I get married. And you kind of go, okay, well, we're not going to have sex before then, but what are you actively doing to make sure you don't have sex?
Yeah, great.
What things are you actually doing? Like sitting in parked cars is not a good idea.
Yeah.
Going away together is not a good idea, unless you're with a group of friends and they're people that actually are going to keep you accountable as well.
Great.
But also kind of going, what things are we doing to make sure we don't even end up there? That we actually have those clear boundaries, we have those clear conversations about going, no, this is as far as it's going to go. And making sure that you're using your bodies to worship God. That you're not taking that other person down a pathway that they don't want to go down and that they might feel pressured to go down as well. But also going, you know what? At the end of the day, God is watching.
Yeah, totally.
And so you want to make sure that your entire life is not just what the public see on a Sunday, or they see when you're serving or you're at Connect and things like that. You want your whole life to worship God in every single area of that. And so making sure that you're having those clear conversations before it goes anywhere. Because it's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
It's a really slippery slope. And so making sure that those conversations happen before anything else happens.
Yeah, great. I think that's so important what you said. The key there is actually honouring the other person.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it is. Society tells us there is... everything is possible, right?
Yeah, but not all things are permissible.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I think that's really important, just that whole sense of actually honouring and valuing the other person. But I just want to touch for a second, you mentioned boundaries.
Yep.
Just how do we set clear boundaries and how do we set those good boundaries?
Yep. Like I said before, the goal is about how we're not going to have sex. And so for everyone, those boundaries are going to be different. And so, like, I've had friends in my world that have gone, we're not going to kiss until we get married.
Yeah, wow.
Because for them, that's the start of the slippery slope. That's where their mind goes places that it shouldn't go, their hands go places they shouldn't go.
Yeah.
And so it's about going, well, okay, this is where I need to be. And I think that your boundaries, if you're prepared to do it in public, then that's okay.
Yeah, great.
So what are you prepared to do when there's other people around?
Great.
Because that's as far as it should go. And making sure that it's really clear and making sure that, again, you're honouring, you're keeping yourself in public places, you don't want to be secret about it all. That's where darkness is where the devil hangs out. And so don't give him an opportunity. I know when I was out flatting, there was a group of guys, we shared a place, we had this rule that no girls would stay over. Yeah. As in, not even on the couch or spare room, like none of that. We were just like, no, we're just not going to have girls staying in our house because we want to be accountable. And, it's also perception. Yeah, and just kind of going, this is the type of life that we want to live. And so it can sound really full on and it can sound like laws and rules and things like that, but you want to set yourself up to win. You want to make sure that you're taking steps in the direction that God wants you to go. And so that you can actually live a life that continues to worship him in every single area. Now, things happen. Yeah. And so that's where, as a couple, go and talk to your pastors, go and talk to your Connect group leaders, and actually go, you know what, this is where we're at. We need some help with this. Can you help us set some boundaries? Can you help us have this conversation? Because sometimes they might be scared to say stuff because, I don't want them to offend, I don't want to offend them. But then also there's the whole rejection thing. Well, what if I tell him to stop and he thinks that I'm pushing all of him away? No, you're just pushing a part of it away. Yeah, and that can go both ways as well. Some girls get pretty handsy as well. And so the guys want to go, I don't want to be the one that says no and rejects them. But for the sake of your soul, you need to. For the sake of who you are, you need to make sure that it's really clear and that you're actually heading in the right direction. Great. And save some things for marriage. Yeah. Let that be the time where you get to explore and actually have that fun and actually work through that whole stuff together, where there's no condemnation. Going too far outside of marriage or having sex outside of marriage, I don't know there's anyone that after thinking about it, there's no condemnation, that there's no hurt, that there's no this feeling of going, I've stuffed up again. And we're all about grace and love, and people can come back from that. And in the moment, obviously, everything's going on and it feels good at the time. But long term, that's destroying your soul. And you're going to walk away from that and go, why did I do that again? Yeah. And so put yourself in the right situations. Actually leave the Christmas presents till Christmas Day. Yeah. We've all opened a Christmas present early and it sucks. Yeah, and totally. So actually wait until what is yours is yours. Yeah, great. I don't agree with the whole concept of the one. I think that the one is the one that you say I do to. But actually going before then, you could be kissing someone else's wife. Yeah. You could be kissing someone else's husband. And so leave those things for marriage. Leave those things that are just between you and your partner, your spouse, and actually enjoy it together and actually go, you know what? This is just for them and this is just for us. Yeah, and this is just what we can take, and this can be a part of our relationship that we don't have to share with anyone else. We're not going to share with anyone else, and actually use that as who you want to be and how you want to live your married life with your partner. Yeah, some great advice I got from one of our pastors here was
that whole thing when you're setting boundaries, don't set it at the cliff's edge.
Yeah.
Set it way back from the cliff's edge, because you don't want to be at that point where something happens and suddenly everything's fallen apart.
Yeah.
Do you think as males, specifically, that we have a role to actually lead when it comes to boundaries, or?
Yep, totally. You know, Joel, it's 2019 and, you know, we're all about equality and all that sort of thing. And I'm not saying that, you know, anything against that. I think that it's great.
Totally.
But what a great opportunity that you get to lead and you get to lead your family and actually get to go, you know what? I'm going to actually lead in this space and I'm going to be a man about this, and I'm not just going to be a boy who wants to fulfill my own desires, but I'm looking to the future. I'm bringing respect to our relationship, but also going, I'm going to lead and I'm going to have the tough conversation, and I'm going to make sure that I'm pushing back on things as well. Not in a rejection way, but always respectfully and carefully and with love, but just going, this is who I want to be. I want to be a man, and I want to actually lead in this area. And so I think that it's paramount.
Yeah, great. So what happens if I'm in a situation then where maybe it's because I wasn't a Christian until just recently, or maybe it's I am a Christian but I've had sex already?
Sure.
Like what's the point of waiting or of not doing it again?
Yeah, I think that there is grace for everyone. There's grace for all those situations, and if you've repented of that, then God's forgotten about it. And so you get to actually walk free of that condemnation, walk free of that sin, and actually walk into your life.
Great.
Again, who do you want to be? How do you actually want to live your life now? Now that you know, now that you've repented of that and actually gone, you know what, I'm turning away from wicked ways, I'm turning away from sin, going, actually, this is the path that I want to take, and this is the direction that I want to take. And it all goes back to the whole selfish desires, leave it for marriage, like all those same things. And I don't mean to be flippant about it, but kind of going, no, that's the end goal. The end goal is to go into marriage, into that pure place. Well, it is for most people. There are people who won't get married and they're called to singleness. I've not met them, but they are out there. And so
extra grace.
Yeah, totally. But there's also people that can help you. There's actually people that can walk alongside you and actually show you that you can live a new life, that we are new creations, that, you know, we want to have a sound mind. And so actually going into those places and going, you know what, this is who I want to be, this is how I want to live my life. And drawing a line in the sand and going, no, this is who I am now.
Yeah, great. That's really, really good.
Well, thanks so much for your time, Hayden, talking about this.
So much to talk about.
I know, right? Just maybe we'll have us back a second time, right?
You never know.
You never know.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Let's Talk About It. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel and like our Facebook and Instagram page so that you don't miss an episode.